What do these people have in common? Sportscaster Bill Titus at Fenway Park. Reporter Kylie Gaylor at KVVU Las Vegas. Or me, Dylan Larenko of the JFK School. We all got our start on Canton Community Television, TV worth watching.
This program is brought to you by Canton Community Television. Now, television studios of Canton High School.
Welcome to the Dog Pound. I'm your host, Kate Budway. Today we have from Canton High School senior field hockey captain Carolyn Duran, who's been playing field hockey since she was a freshman and is here to tell us all about field hockey and how it's played. Welcome, Carolyn.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
All right. To start off, can you describe how the sport is played?
So there's 2 teams of 11 and there's different positions. And normally, so like for us personally, we do a 3-3-4, meaning we have 3 offense, 3 midfield, and 4 defense, but there's 3 defense, but there's a sweep. So like the sweep stays back like kind of like 10, 15 yards-ish in front of me. And the ball is not allowed to hit your feet. If it is hit your foot, it's the other team's ball. You're not allowed to lift it past the kneecaps of the other team. And if you do, again, it's the other team's ball. And when the ball hits your feet inside of the circle, it's a corner, and it's basically a free shot because it's, like 7 on 5-ish? It's like their whole team comes and they can all shoot on you. It's like it's basically a free shot, but it's not really. And then penalty shots are called a stroke. And yeah, that's basically the game.
Can you describe what a stroke is?
A stroke is when you're a certain amount of paces in front of the goalie, and the goalie has to stay on the line. Their heels have to be on the line. But the shooter has to be behind the ball. They have to have their goggles on, mouth guards in, and then when the ref blows the whistle after saying goalie ready, shooter ready, then they can shoot the ball. And it's really hard for the goalies to save it because they're covering such a large space.
What is the main object of the game?
The main object of the game is obviously to win, but you want to pass the ball well, shoot the ball well, you want to execute on your corners. You don't want to give up a lot of corners in your games because it's hard to defend. But overall, your goal is to win.
How would you win?
Well, it's different for every team, but for us this year, a big thing was executing on our corners because we had a hard time with that, following through and getting shots off on the net. So over time, our coaches taught us that it's not going to be the first shot that just goes in. It's going to be like the second or third shot that goes in. So our forwards practice every single day working on corners. And over time, we got better on them, but they're really hard because you have to like create a set play, and you have to it's hard because the other team can learn your corners after a few times because once you yell out green, and then you go to the top and shoot it right in, it's really easy to defend. But some of the trickier corners are hard to defend when they make multiple passes.
How many goals are typically scored off corners?
It's different for every game, but normally it's lower scoring games unless you play against an opponent who's not as skilled or hardworking as you. For example, one time we won, I think almost 10-0, but then again, a lot of our games were 4-3, 3-2, 1-0, very, very close games.
What are field hockey games typically played on?
The field hockey games are typically played on turf, although in previous years our JV team has played on grass. But it's very hard to play on grass because it's hard to do a reverse sweep, or it's hard to chip up the ball because it's not on a flat surface. Imagine if you were golfing and you were playing on grass that wasn't cut very low. It's really hard to make a good pass because the ball gets caught in the divots.
Have you ever had to play on grass?
Yes, my freshman and sophomore year maybe, when I was on JV, I had to play on the grass down back behind high school, and it was really hard too because when the players would shoot it, sometimes the ball would get caught in a divot and it would pop up, or our players couldn't do a reverse sweep, whereas when they bring the ball to the left side of their body, which is their offhand, because player sticks are only designed for righties, so you have to pull across your body and you're on your backhand, and it's when you like push the ball out in front of you just a little bit and you like sweep it, and it's really hard to do on grass because your stick gets caught.
Is it easier to do on turf, or is it just hard in general?
It's hard in general, but over time the technique is easily picked up. But it's easier on the turf because it's smoother and flatter, and it's just easier to get your stick level, because like if your stick is at an angle, the ball is not going to go anywhere, or it will pop up and then it will become the other team's ball.
What equipment do players normally wear?
So it's different for levels. So for field players and in high school and younger, a lot of times they'll be wearing shin guards and a certain color sock, and they'll have a uniform. It's often like a penny and a skirt for games, and then they'll have their mouthpieces and goggles. But when you get to college, all you need is your shin guards, which are these like hard plastic ones, almost kind of like soccer shin guards, but they're thicker and bigger. And then in college you don't need goggles, and you don't need to take out your jewelry, whereas you do in high school.
Do players get injured?
I would say yes, because when like people do corners, the ball is hit really hard. Like for instance, we were warming up one game, I think it was our senior night, and Audrey got hit in the hip, and because Ellie shot it and it popped up, and like it just hurts. So like a lot of times people get hit with the ball, or when people fall through on their shots, or even because like you're playing really low, sometimes when the grass is wet you'll slip, or the turf is wet, you'll slip and pull something.
Have you ever been injured while playing?
I have. When we played against Norwood, the turf was wet, and I slipped on my clear, and my leg like overextended, and I pulled my hamstring. But other than that, I have not been hurt.
How do you have different equipment than players?
I do have different equipment than players. I have these big blue leg pads that kind of look like marshmallows almost, and they're called my leg pads. But then I have these big foam things that go over my feet, and they're called my kickers, and that's my leg gear. I also wear pants, kind of like every other goalie does, like in lacrosse or hockey. I also wear this like foam chest protector. It's really, really thin. It's like nothing crazy. I have a foam blocker where it's literally just one big piece of foam. And then I have my stick in my right hand and like foam covering it. And then I just have my regular hockey helmet, and I have to wear a neck guard and mouth guard too.
Can you describe your first game?
I don't remember my first game ever because I split it on JV, but my first varsity game was against Franklin, and Franklin is very, very good. So we lost by a lot because they're just very good. They always have been, but I was definitely nervous because it was Franklin. I let in a lot of goals, and it was hard because that was my first game, and we lost like 10-0.
What do you think you did well, and what do you think you needed to improve on?
Well, it was kind of hard to think of because it was 2 years ago, and it was so long ago. But I would say one thing I did well was forgetting about the goals that I let in. Like I couldn't like keep my attention on that because I had to move forward, because I had to make some saves. But one thing I could have done better was probably like my communication with the team, because I was still nervous. It was my first game. I didn't really know all the rules yet, which is kind of silly, but field hockey rules are kind of hard to pick up on. So definitely my communication was one thing I could improve.
Is this something that a lot of goalies struggle with?
Yeah, so this year we have a first-time goalie. Her name is Ashley, and I was telling her, you really should work on your communication now so it comes easily or later. Like, for me, I should have practiced it my freshman and sophomore year. That way it would have been easy for me my junior year, but I didn't really do that because nobody pushed me to do so. So I definitely wanted to tell her to do that. And she started to, but at first she said it was awkward because she didn't know the rules. And I was like, you just have to get past that and you'll be fine.
Was there a goalie coach to help you along the way?
Yeah, his name was David, but everyone on the team called him Papa. And Papa is like the coolest person you'll ever meet. He's so supportive. He loves everything goalies. Like, he is a ride or die for you, honestly. Like, he'll cheer you on, but he'll also keep you in line when you mess up. He is, if you like look at all of the goalies he's taught, he's super successful. Riley Brown went to Merrimack for field hockey. Riley O'Connor went to St. Mike's for field hockey. And then I'm going to Assumption. So everything that we've learned from him obviously paid off because all the goalies he's taught are going somewhere. So that's pretty cool.
Do you remember when and why you started playing?
I started playing because there was a need for a field hockey goalie at the time, and David heard that I was a pretty decent hockey player, so he really, not like recruited, but like he forced me to play kind of. And Mrs. Brown, who works in the front office, she's the one who texted my mom and was like, hey, you should have Carolyn try this out. So I showed up one summer, like literally for an hour, and did this camp. And I was like, okay, it's not so bad. So my mom signed me up freshman and sophomore year. And both years I would cry because I like did not like the sport. I was like, Mom, why would you ever sign me up for this? This is not for me. But then junior year, it was really fun. And then senior year, obviously I loved it, and I would not regret a thing playing field hockey.
If you could go back in time, would you still stick with your decision to play?
Yeah, I definitely, in the moment, I hated it, and definitely took that out on my mom. I was like, why would you ever sign me up for such a sport? But over time, the team and like the coaches, like Chrissy and Kelly and Papa and Lynn, like they're so awesome, and I would not trade it for the world. I'm so glad I stuck with field hockey.
Have you ever wanted to try a different position?
But it's funny that you say that because every single game that like we were winning by a lot, I'd be like, all right, like put me in an offense. I want to score a goal. And they were like, Carolyn, that's not happening. Like, why would that ever happen? So I would want to play a different spot just to try it out, honestly. Not to like play permanently, but just for fun. Like, I would love to try it out.
If you could pick which position, what would it be?
Offense. Defense, that's too much pressure. Even though I'm a goalie, but that's too much pressure. I could not do that.
Do you usually feel a lot of pressure?
I definitely do feel a lot of pressure, especially during the corners, because it's kind of my responsibility to save the shot that's coming in. But it's a different type of pressure than the people who are on like the field ahead of me. Like my defense, they have to stop like wicked fast girls in front of me just to slow down the play. That way I can take the good angle. So I would say I do feel pressure, but I feel like the people in front of me feel even more because it's their responsibility to keep them out of the circle.
What is your favorite move?
My favorite move is, honestly, I don't even know. It's really fun when I do this thing called like a punch clear. It's when I not slide, but like I kick and fall through with my kick, and then I end up on the ground. It's pretty cool when like we do a shootout or something. Oh, that's another thing. Shootouts are 10 seconds, and they have the whole 10 seconds to score. It's not like a one and done type of shootout. They have 10 seconds to score, but if I save it and kick it out of the circle or kick it like past the goal line where the net is sitting, then the shootout is over. But that's a pretty fun move where I just kick it, or anytime I save it in the air. That's pretty cool too.
How many teams have you played on?
I have really only played on the Canton High team, but I did play for Bay State for a few, I did it during one season, but I only went for a few times because it conflicted with hockey. So I did it like when on the weekends when I could go, but I really only ever played with Canton High.
If you could change that decision and join club when you were younger, would you?
Honestly, I don't think I would because I was fine with doing like the summer stuff with Christine Kelly and Extreme and just working with Papa and Riley and all of them, that I don't really think it would affect me at all. So I don't know. I feel like it'd be fun, but I really liked where I was at for now. So
What's the difference between club and high school field hockey?
club is a variety of girls from all different towns. Normally you have tryouts just like you do for high school, but it's not more competitive, but it's you like can score more goals without feeling bad for the other team. Like it's more competitive in that nature, whereas like you're not going to feel bad for the girl who you play over because she's not getting as much playing time. Like for club, you're there to be better and like get more playing time. So I would say it's different in that nature, whereas like your high school team is more invested in like you and stuff.
What is your favorite memory from high school?
My favorite memory would either be after the mile when we got ice cream last year, or this year when we won our senior night, because everyone favored Braintree because they were very good. They were undefeated, but we beat them. I think it was 1-0, 2-0. Not really sure, to be honest with you, but that was a great memory.
Do you think you'll continue playing field hockey?
Yes, so I actually committed to Assumption to play field hockey for the next 4 years, so I will be continuing.
Do you know anyone else going to Assumption?
Yes, Ellie Bohane, she actually is a senior at this high school. We are co-captains. She's also going to Assumption, which is pretty cool because I'll know someone. We also move in early for preseason, but I think it will be super fun, and we'll get to continue our friendship into college as well.
What aspects of field hockey make you want to continue playing?
Honestly, just the overall culture. Everyone's so welcoming. I just love being active. Like, I think I would get really bored if I didn't do a sport. Just like having that immediate friends, like at college, because I'll be there so much earlier than everyone else. I will already have created so many friends before the school year has even started.
Thank you, Carolyn, for being on our show today. We all learned about field hockey and how it's played. From Canton Community Television, I'm Catherine Budway. Thank you for watching.
Oh, thanks, Kate, for having me.
This has been a C Period production. Catherine Budway, McKenna Morris, Wyatt Proctor, Michael Sayre, Declan Monahan, Charlie Zapp, Teddy Schumann, Vlad Frank Clark, Robert Dixon, Nicholas Crow, Samuel Doody, Jasmine Finland, Ryan Hart, Isabel Freitas, Nolan Harney, Grady Carson.
This program's brought to you by Canton Community Television, now from the television studios of Canton High School.
Welcome to the Dog Pound. I'm your host, Kevin Brophy. Today we'll be talking about Canton Bulldogs' last football season with Kareem Chaplin. Kareem, thank you for being on our show this morning.
I want to thank you first, Kevin, for bringing me on this show and choosing me. So thank you.
You're welcome. Today I have a couple questions regarding the football season, if you don't mind. So, Kareem, can you tell us how the most recent football season went compared to last season?
Well, last season was a pretty bad season for both sub-V and varsity. We were won a total of like 4 games. We were like 2-6, and varsity was 2-7, somewhere along there. So it was a bad season, but we really turned it around this season. 6-3 for sub varsity and 7-3 for varsity.
Yeah.
We didn't make the playoffs, unfortunately, but we beat Stoughton for the Thanksgiving game, so that's really good for us. And I think really one of the reasons why we were able to turn it around, because we just understood the game a lot better. I know sub-varsity really understood the game a lot better. Players got better individually, and we moved players around so they could produce the most and give us the best. So that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell us what the football season has been doing to improve this off season.
We've been in the weight room. Well, not right now, but in January we'll be in the weight room basically every day until the start of the season. We'll have practices after that. We'll have 7-on-7s. We'll be on the field on the spring, and we'll just do a lot of things to get better, especially for this season coming up.
Mm-hmm. Tell us what the coaches did this off season to help improve the team.
Well, like I said, on the off season, we are in the weight room a lot. We make sure to get everybody that was playing in there multiple times so everybody can get stronger, better for the next team. We had 7-on-7s, like I said. Not everybody could be on 7-on-7, but the people that were really helped out. And we did little competitive games on the weight room to get like team bonding together. So like we really could trust each other during those times with the team bonding and doing those little games and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's really it. We had our camp. We have our camp every year, I think. We had our camp early on in the year. Got a couple practices in before the season started, and that really helped us, up our level up for the season.
Yeah. Out of all those factors, which was most important?
I really have to say the most important factor was the coaches. Coaches are just, they're like the most important thing. If you don't have a coach that's good enough, you won't be going that far. If our head coach, Coach Fallon, and for Sub V, Coach Dom are really great coaches. They trust us. They help us out during things. They moved us around positions-wise, I said earlier, to, really produce the best team that we really could. And those coaches really helped us out. And all the other coaches that were on the team helping out every day, got to mention those guys too. Can't just mention the head coach, because coaches really do a lot for us this year. And they'll probably do the same thing next year for us. Yeah. So, yeah.
Can you explain why you started playing football?
I've always wanted to play football. I've played flag football the most. My mom she was scared for me playing contact my first year, which surprising, I got injured first year of the game. But yeah, I always wanted to play it. I mean, playing flag football was great, but I just want to play the real thing, the contact. And people were talking about how I should just play football, so I never really thought about playing football. I always played basketball my whole life. So I watched football, but I didn't really like it like that. But now, since I actually started playing it and finally got to complete the season, it felt great. It felt great really playing football this year with teammates, and friends came from teammates, and it was just a great year altogether.
Mm-hmm. I know it's early, but do you plan on playing college football? Why or why not?
Well, honestly, I don't even know if I'm just going to go to college. I don't know what I want to do after high school. I mean, I don't even know what I want to do right now. So I really don't know the answer to that question. But if I do go to college, I really would like to play at the college level to see what's really the big difference between high school and college football.
Yeah, that's fair. So you're a swing player. Can you describe the differences between JV and varsity?
Well, it's a lot more intense. Our practices are for JV is intense, but varsity takes it a different level when it comes to intense. Coach is more serious. I seen a couple people drop a couple passes, and our coach for Sub B would say, yeah, that's bad, but head coach for varsity was pretty mad, dropping passes, making mistakes. It was pretty intense. And on game days, it's really different for us. Sub V game days, it's game day, but we didn't. All throughout the year, one thing we had a problem was bringing energy right when we walked onto that field. But for varsity, it was way different. The energy started on the bus rides for away games, or as soon as we got in the locker room, that's when the energy really picked up, and we got a lot more serious for varsity. And yeah, mistakes are really crucial for varsity. I mean, mistakes are crucial for JV too, but varsity players are just different, man.
Yeah.
Mistakes, they'll capitalize on that because they're bigger, stronger. So if you make even a little tiny mistake, varsity will really capitalize and make plays out of your mistakes. So mistakes are a lot more crucial on varsity. Though, yeah.
So, what was your most memorable moment this season?
My most memorable moment was probably my first ever touchdown against Norton. Well, that touchdown was really special to me. It was a little bubble, made a guy miss and ran for a touchdown. It was special because, like I said, I got injured first game, and it was a hip injury. It could have been, it was serious. Could have had surgery. Could have probably never ever played football again. So I was really thinking about just like not playing this year and not playing at all because that injury, I didn't want it to spiral into something like me not being able to walk or me not being able to play sports again. And I really love to play sports. So when I got that touchdown, I was like, wow. It really boosted my confidence because I was like, I never thought I would score. Never thought I would be as good I was my first year. Well, I can't really say that because I was injured, but like I thought I would never be able to get a touchdown. So I was really happy for myself. My team was. People were telling me it came the wrong way from being injured first year, and working to get that touchdown was really, really special to me.
Yeah. About that video, we do have a video on Kareem's touchdown against Norton.
Quarterback quick pass to the left, and that's complete by number 29. He's going to break it all the way to the end zone, and there is a touchdown. So Ken answers quickly. Number 29, Kareem on the catch and the touchdown. Ken now up by 2 touchdowns.
So yeah, that touchdown really helped my confidence boost, and it really helped me throughout the year just to be like the best that I can because I scored that, and it was also crucial for that game too because we only won by 7 points. Norton was a really tough team to beat. We were struggling, we were making mistakes, and I made a crucial mistake that game. My first time ever on kick return, and I jumped on the ball at the 1 yard line. So yeah, it was a really bad mistake to do that, but we came in, we won that game by 7, like I said, and just a really crucial score for me and my team that day. So yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about that game? Like, what helped you guys win that game?
What helped us win that game was our defense. I have to give it to the guys on defense. The defense was just incredible that game. One player, Pat Lepovich, was getting very, very crucial sacks, and it was just the defense that really carried us all throughout the year. Those guys were just playing incredible defense. You can't disregard them. Our offense was slow all throughout the year, but the defense really helped us this year. I really love to see it throughout all the years. So the defense was like just amazing that game. Offense, we were struggling, man, but we came out with the win. Norton was a tough offensive team. Some mistakes because early on in the year, we're gonna make mistakes. Was that the second game? So we made a lot of mistakes, but happy we came out with the W. Team got better. We understood each other better from that win, and just went on from there.
So, out of the entire season, what was the worst moment and why?
I think the worst moment for the entire season was us not making the playoffs against OA or Fox. OA and Fox were definitely games that we could have definitely won to make the playoffs. We just 19-12 or some close like that for OA. Oliver Ames is OA, so that's why I'm saying it. But OA was just like we could have made the playoffs, and that was like probably like one of the worst moments because we were out of the playoffs. So playing playoffs and like probably bringing a Super Bowl to here, I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
To here and like in 2022, it was just the worst because I thought we could really make the playoffs. We were a really good team this year.
So, tell us about your most embarrassing football moment.
Well, all throughout the year, I had to say this. I was dropping lots of passes. So as a receiver, I think that's really embarrassing. You can't be dropping passes when the team needs you to catch them, especially wide open ones. I was dropping some pretty disappointing passes, disappointed in myself for dropping those passes. My father was disappointed in me a little bit. He was like, you should catch those, and I really agree with him. And one of my most embarrassed moments, too, was against Milford. I ran a little dig route. It's a route where you run across the middle of the field, and their linebacker was really good. He hit me, he popped me and put me on the ground, and that was probably one of my most embarrassing moments out through the whole year because I didn't know you could do that. So he popped me, put me on the ground, and I didn't know where I was for a second, but I still got back up. But that was pretty embarrassing for me.
I remember that play pretty vividly. What do we expect next year for the football season?
Well, honestly, I don't know what to expect myself. We'll be playing a lot, and we'll be losing our seniors. I got to thank the seniors for this year, and we'll be really losing our seniors. So I honestly don't know what to expect from this year. We'll just have to wait and see until the first game, first Friday night. We just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. So I know the season hasn't started yet, but what changes can we expect?
Like I said, I don't know what to expect. Changes can be happening anywhere. People could be changed to different positions, could have different coaches, different scheme. So we're going to just have to wait and see until first practice for us. But for people in Canton, it's probably the first ever game that they'll ever see what changes we'll see. But I think a lot of good things to expect for next year. I think we'll be good. And, I just don't know what to expect of changes. Anything can really happen from right now to next season.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kareem, for letting us in on the success of the Canton Bulldogs football season. From Canton Community Television, I'm your host, Kevin Brophy. Thanks for watching.
This show has been a Canton Community Television production by Kevin Brophy, Dave Carlson, Colin Davis, Anthony Lezia, Liam Doherty, John Feeney, Tyler Finland, Andrew, Brendan Marshall, Carlos, Carolyn, Madeline, Jimmy Young, Joe Bazard, Viola Obama. Goodbye.
You're watching the Student Station on Canton Community Television.